Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start by congratulating the Permanent Mission of South Africa and the World Council of Churches for organizing this very timely event. The three elements of our discussions are very closely linked. Atrocity crimes, the term we use to refer to the crime of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, leave terrible scars on society. History has shown that for societies to heal, there has to be a transitional justice process, a process that links an objective examination of what occurred, i.e. truth-telling, to a judicial process that holds accountable those responsible for crimes committed, and a process of reconciliation and reparation, a healing of the memories. A process of memorialization of the victims of atrocity crimes provides recognition of their suffering and the suffering of those who survive and prepares the ground for healing and reconciliation. An examination of the past through memorialization contributes to our understanding of the present and should guide our actions in the future. What we will be tomorrow will depend on our actions today. Transitional justice and the kind of objective, investigative, and truth-telling processes that contribute to the healing of memories should serve to continually remind us to avoid past mistakes and to work to prevent future crimes. Remembering in this context only acquires its full meaning if we use the lessons so painfully learned from the past to improve the lives of today's and future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us are unable to even begin to imagine the extreme pain, the suffering, and the trauma caused by the violence associated with genocide and other atrocity crimes. During my visit to Iraq last November, I spent time with members of the Yazidi and other minority communities. I was deeply moved by their accounts of the horrors they and their families had lived through. Large-scale killings, rape, torture, slavery, forced displacement, and the destruction of their communities simply because of the beliefs that they hold, simply because of who they are. It is difficult to grasp that human beings can be so inhuman and in such a deliberate way. Unfortunately, this is just one of too many examples around the world today. Though we are shaken by what we see and hear, few of us really know what it is to experience such violence. It is therefore our duty to those who have perished and those who have survived, and to their families, to support their efforts for recognition and for justice. Acknowledging those who lost their lives as a result of atrocity crimes, acknowledging their occurrence, addressing the consequences, and respecting and fulfilling the rights of the victims not only dignifies the victims, it also underlines our determination not to let these crimes be repeated. We know that when states fail to undertake credible transitional justice processes, there is a far higher risk that these crimes will be committed again. When the legacies of past atrocity crimes have not been adequately addressed, societies are more likely to resort again to violence as a means of addressing grievances. It is important to highlight that atrocity crimes are not contained within one culture or one region of the world. They are, at their heart, identity-based conflicts. All our countries and regions are extremely diverse, and it is in this diversity that the richness lies. We are a multitude of ethnicities and nationalities. We have different cultures. We practice different religions and have different beliefs. We must protect this diversity and use it to promote dialogue and understanding, not to spread hatred and intolerance. This protection is not only a responsibility, but it is founded in the obligations set out in international law. Respect for all, without discrimination. States must manage diversity constructively. It is my firm belief that civil society has a fundamental role to play in supporting transitional justice processes and the healing of memories, as well as in preventing and protecting future population from these crimes, given the ability of civil society to reach out to victims, hold governments to account, and advocate for respect for human rights and international humanitarian law. Within civil society, religious leaders have a particularly important role to play and are key partners in helping societies to recover from the trauma of violence, thanks to their spiritual leadership and their influence over so many different and important communities. For this reason, I'm extremely happy to see that Father Michael Lapsley is with you today. Father Lapsley is a living example of how religious leaders can contribute to advancing peace and justice. His life, devoted to fighting apartheid and overcoming the traumas caused by racial segregation in South Africa, should inspire us all. We must draw from the example set by Father Lapsley and by other courageous religious leaders. We must do more to support more those who speak out and make sure that their voices are heard. Based on our conviction of their special place in society, my office has been working in collaboration with religious leaders from around the world in relation to one very important element of the prevention of atrocity crimes, the prevention of incitement to violence that could lead to these crimes. Religious leaders can be enormously influential in this regard. We have developed a plan of action, the phase plan of action, which sets out options for actions by religious leaders to prevent incitement, working individually and collectively. We are now organizing regional meetings with religious leaders in 5 regions to develop context-specific strategies to implement the phase plan of action. So far, we have met with religious leaders in Europe, the Middle East and North Africa, and the Americas. The next meeting will take place in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, in May, with religious leaders from the Africa region. Once we have completed all 5 regional consultations, we plan to hold a final meeting to bring the result of all these meetings together. We will then launch the phase plan of action and focus on implementing the various regional strategies. Esteemed guests, atrocity crimes are not contained by time. The consequences of the extreme violence that characterize these crimes continue to be felt for generations by the survivors and their families, as well as by the societies in which they occur. This event today focuses on the ways in which we can heal societies and work to break cycles of violence through credible transitional justice processes. Let us not continue to repeat the mistakes of the past. Let us act now to stop atrocity crimes from being part of our present or our future. I thank you.